So also what's happening soon, towards the end of August, before the end of August, is the end of Season 1. So this is the first competitive season. It was a little bit truncated. It was a little bit shorter than the other ones will be. Kyle and I did play some matches together. I'm putting it on my resume that we won 9 of those 10 games. But then after that...
10th one was a good loss.
Yeah, I have to say I fell off. And we'll talk about some of the reasons why the psychology didn't necessarily grab us in terms of progression, but it did grab one person on this panel.
Who can guess? Who could it be?
I'm going to ask him to just recite his whole experience.
Okay,
about Season 1. Tell us your story. First of all, tell us your rank. Because you're up there, man.
I have a peak rank of 76, so
Top
I was
500.
I was top 800 players. So I've not quite cracked top 500. I've not quite cracked it. I don't know when this episode goes out. We won't talk about my yesterday's laddering. I have a little more work to go now. But I have done about, I'd say 95% of my games are solo queue.
Which is
so I hardly ever duo with other people or play as a team or anything like that on a regular basis. I pretty much entirely solo
masochist.
queue. So the competitive ladder to me has been perfect, I have to say. It has completely fulfilled my expectations with 2 exceptions. And that's the way that they distribute ranks at the top end of the game and the way that they reward your experience and progression. So what a lot of the pro players and I have actually found out is that your rating for top 500 is actually dictated by your MMR, not your skill rating. Your skill rating actually chases your MMR as you go along. And that's actually influenced by how well you play a character comparative to the global population playing that character. So there was about a week and a half after McCree was buffed that all the pro players picked up McCree because McCree was junk before that and shot up full rank and a half at a time as they flew to the top of the ladder.
They game the system just the slightest bit.
Yes.
And so, MMR is not displayed anywhere in the game.
That is correct. Right. And so for the secondary issue I talked about, at 76, I would frequently get placed into games where there'd be like me and then a bunch of level 60 players against a team of upper 60s, low 70s. And it was basically on me to carry the rest of the team. Now that's fine. I could do that in some circumstances, but occasionally you just hit groups where that's physically not possible. And that to me was kind of the frustrating part, is the spread of skills that you sometimes get towards the top end of the competitive ladder.
And so the question that actually kind of works with that I was going to ask you is, did your role shift? Because I find when I'm playing most of the time I like to play offense, but definitely at that level there would be people who are just way better at aiming than I am. Yeah. So at that point, do you think it's more beneficial for me to choose a support character? Did your role shift? I know you were playing a ton of Reaper at the start of the season.
That is correct.
Has your main changed because of the context of the people that you're playing with?
Well, it has, but that's only because D.Va is so freaking awesome nowadays. No, it really is. Yes, my role did switch. Let's be totally honest. The rank that I'm at right now, I'm playing against Quake pros, Counter-Strike pros, stuff like that.
Sure.
I don't have that aim. I'm fine to admit that. That's totally okay. They're going to kill me on characters like Widow and McCree every single day. But what I have and where my game experience comes from is positioning, knowing strategy, knowing where to be in fights. So I've gravitated actually towards more characters like that because that's my strength at that skill level, not aiming. So I find mostly that I'm playing Lucio, I'm playing a lot of D.Va, I'm playing some Reinhardt, Roadhog, I'm playing a bit of Ana and Zen right now, and even a couple off-projectile DPS characters. You're right. It has shifted, but I think I find my place in the meta and what I'm supposed to play, if that makes sense. It's kind of a natural progression.
It totally makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, but at the same time, you wouldn't necessarily pick, basically, Season 2 starts, right, you're doing your placement matches, maybe it's solo queue, and your MMR is not carried over, and you are the person with the absolute best aim. At that point, does your pick go,
No, I'm
towards
D.Va
McCree,
only now.
towards a...
I'm joking.
Well, her
D.Va's
pistol,
really good. We'll talk about that later.
Damage.
It really is, actually. Yes and no. I would find myself picking a character that I know I can carry with, but doesn't necessarily have to be aim. And what I found out in this game is that frequently the DPS characters, while they can carry at times, are actually not the strongest carries at times. A lot of times that's your main tank. A lot of times that's actually a decent support that can get a game-changing ult, like a good Transcendence, a really good sound barrier or something like that. So the skill cap to me is a little bit different, I guess. Yeah.
Cool. That's exciting for Kyle as a Reinhardt player. He when we were playing, I think that you felt a little bit underappreciated, but
I've come to accept as a support player that the DPS players and the damage meter, scrubs, that all they care about is their damage and their DPS and their ults.
Damage meter scrubs.
They
Just
totally
say it
are.
right here.
Yeah, I'm looking right at you, dude. And they totally don't appreciate the game-changing shields, the game-changing charges, the game-changing ults. Like, all they care about is the gold medal by kills and the gold medal by damage.
It's not
Because
necessarily
those are
that
the
they
most
don't-
important medals.
Well, it's not necessarily that they don't care, they just don't know how to utilize it correctly.
Yeah, I know, but it's just, I've accepted that role as that being my lot in life. I was a tank in WoW, I was a healer in WoW, I was a healer in Arena, I just accepted
Well, you're
it.
also a tank in real life. life.
Yes, it's true. I am. Yeah, I am IGN's
reflection
Minister of
of yourself.
Defense.
So you know how everyone kind of talks about elo hell in various different games and stuff like that to work your way up? So I found some very interesting things on my way in progressing through elo hell here. So the best ranks to grind in are the 60s, believe it or not. The 50s suck and the 70s suck. 50s, everyone kind of thinks they're good, but they're not, unfortunately. They need to work as a team and continue to build their skill and stuff like that. 60s, you're pretty good, but you know your limitations. And so a lot of those people are working as a team, trying out new characters, working on skill. 70s, you hit egos, and that's a fun one. When you get the guy who's like, I only play Genji because I'm the best, I'm top 30 Genji player in the world, but it doesn't work, and they don't swap.
We've all played with them.
So 70s are actually pretty bad.
We need a tank. We need a tank. You've been Hanzo every round of this game.
Yes.
Play a tank. No, I'm the best Hanzo ever. You're not on fire.
60s are the sweet spot, though. I found out. So there you go.
I have a bit of good news for you, Kevin.
Yes.
We were talking yesterday, and we were talking about the rest of your grind, because you are working towards. I mean, you're having a great time. You've already had your reward the whole time. It's been a blast for you.
Yes.
But also the animated spray. That's like the big prestigious
It was
thing.
2 games away. No.
And the thing about the animated spray is anytime anybody sprays anything, this Season 1 animated spray sprayed over it will always trump them.
yeah.
And you will
This-
just be the greatest player
For life.
forever.
I need it so
life.
bad. Yeah, I want that spray. That is the OG spray. That will be the best spray. That will be the only one that matters 2 years from now. I want it.
Yeah, I'm season 2. I'm season 2 top 500. Doesn't matter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
this
Season
OG
1.
spray,
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So we were talking about the top 500, and we were saying that you have to end the season in the top 500. That is not true, actually.
Yes, you're correct.
You only have to be in the top 500 for the blink of a mind's eye.
Which is what makes it doubly frustrating that because I totally
So if you
didn't
just-
lose 5 ranks last night, by the way. I didn't. I'm not 71
Good.
right now.
Glad.
I'm right on the edge of the top. No, I just, now that I know that, because I thought I had to finish the season in the top 500,
So you just have to
I
dip
was
your toes
okay
in the
with it.
pool and it doesn't matter.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's like, I mean,
That's
that
sad.
was the best part
So
of
close.
Legend and
bad.
Hearthstone is you just don't give a crap anymore. You can just do
Yeah.
whatever you want, and you can fall
Exactly.
to like number 5,000, which equates to like rank 15. You don't care, like
Right.
You're a legend at that point.
But
So
you can't-
that's exciting to me, because I think a big deterrent was there was this huge gap between this dichotomy of like, okay, you do your placement matches or you're in the top 500, which takes your level of dedication, which is insane. The idea of having to end in the top 500 was even more daunting, because
That's
every
true.
single pro player is going to be doing it for like 72 hours until the season ends, but that's not the case anymore. Thankfully, you just hit it. With this new system implemented, you get your spray at the end
Just
of the
a
season.
taste.
Just a little
Yeah,
taste of the top
just a little
500. That's
bit.
all you need. You don't need the full thing.
I think that's smart because it encourages players like me to at least work towards it.
I agree.
You said
Sorry. Yeah, sorry, I did a swear on your show.
You said
It's okay.
you said players, and
there'll
then
be
both
lots-
Duggan and I
lots
just
of
nodded.
That is correct. Yes, indeed. So I did want to comment just very briefly on kind of the state of the game and where it's at right
Sure,
now.
sure.
So because we mentioned Diva's really good now, and Diva is really good right now. The biggest takeaways that I have right now are that I'm gonna pump myself up and say I was totally right about Soldier 76. Soldier 76 isn't played anymore, just isn't. There is no situation in which you would pick a Soldier 76 over McCree, because McCree is so damn powerful right now. Also, we don't see Pharahs anymore. I nailed that one. We don't see Pharahs. They're just not used anymore. McCree and Zenyatta just take them out. Here's where I was wrong, though.
Not used at your level.
Yes.
Yeah. I was
Here's.
gonna say I still see a fair bit of them.
See both
There you
of
go.
those.
I guess I am talking more about like
This is high level. This is like
competitive esports
completely
meta.
up to
I just wanted to
watch a
clarify for
lot
the
of
people
tournaments and
listening or
stuff like
watching.
that. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point. Thank you. I was wrong about a couple of characters, though. Zenyatta in particular was the one where I missed the mark the most. I thought that he was going to be very, very good, but specialized, and because his Discord Orb is so powerful now, and it's just so good with his increased health, he's ubiquitous. He's absolutely everywhere. He's in every comp, and Mercy has completely fallen out of top level play.
I've picked him up now, and I almost always it's like Discord Orb on this person, boom, gone.
Yep,
He's
100% gone.
Thanks for coming out.
So some people have actually complained about his Transcendence. I like it. I think that's in a good spot. I think the only change is Zenyatta right now, knock down that Discord Orb. It's just too much.
I also think the Transcendence has also gotten a lot better because of the kind of almost the death ball comp where it's like you've got your 5 that are rolling in a close proximity to each other, and then your Genji that's roaming. And your Genji takes the healing orb, and then everyone that's nearby has got the 3 tanks, and then the 2 healers, and then your McCree.
Yeah, I think before the buff, there were 2 types of Transcendence. There was one that was for the team, was for team fights, was for let's engage, or maybe let's save this team fight, and then there was, oh my god, I'm being ganked.
Yeah.
And
That's
now you can kind of take the I'm being ganked one and roll it into the let's help my team because of that speed buff. So I do think it's pretty big.
So my big takeaways right now, every tank is powerful. Every single tank has a role in the game, and there are several 3-tank comps that you see top teams occasionally play and stuff like that. They're amazing. Zenyatta Lucio is used in every game, everywhere. Ana is not that great, but not because she individually is not that great, but because Zenyatta does everything she does, but better, essentially. And when you want burst heal, you got to have him. When you want sustain heal, you got to have Lucio. There's no real room for other supports right now. Similarly, offense is in a weird spot. It's only Genji and McCree at the top level right now, and I think we need to see a big nerf to McCree again.
Which, may bring Soldier back into contention.
Yes.
And that's kind of the weird thing where you fall into this optimal balance. It's a very difficult thing to strive for. But I remember, in World of Warcraft and other games that, it's just this flip-flopping between, okay, there's a slight nerf to this guy. Now and I think Soldier and McCree are totally part of that same Venn diagram where, when one becomes slightly better than the other, he is the go-to pick. Maybe the edge given to McCree a little bit just because of his stun grenade.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah, that stun grenade is just key. There's so many times that I've been playing where I'm like, nope, okay, gotta go McCree because I need that stun. I need to stop the Tracer, I need to stop the Genji, I need to stop all these people.
yeah, and they're two peas in a pod. So I think it's very difficult to balance characters that are, basically fighting for the same spot on the team.
That's absolutely right.